just delete it. Well, here, I'll show you. You know, you guys see the slides, right? You see all this stuff? Basically, I have an idea to set up mobile broadcasting stations at every high pollution producing plant in the state of New Mexico. And I want to monitor them 24/7 with live streaming equipment. And I want to broadcast the smokestacks billowing into the sky 24 hours a day until we finally switch everything over to solar. Because the truth is it's happening right now, but you can't see it. So I want to buy these. I want to create these mobile broadcasting stations with like a cheap, well, not a cheap van, but a van with a camera mounted on top. Just cut a hole with a circular saw, stick it in there, and fasten it. And basically hire someone $10 an hour to man it, just to monitor it, and stay there at all these different power stations. And then I want to have a screen that you look at that shows like little tile boxes of all the different video feeds compiled together. And so you'll see one smokestack plant here on one side of New Mexico. You'll see another one here. You'll see another one here. You'll see another one here, here, here. And that's what the screen will look like. It'll be all the different power plants, and it'll all be live. And you'll just see them just shooting up a bunch of shit into the sky. And then that is going to be like the motivator for our Kickstarter campaign. And we're going to try and raise $10 million to start a solar farm here that hopefully will be large enough to be able to supply enough power to shut down, well, hopefully every toxic plant in the state. So, yeah. Present this as Shark Tank. They will be back. They will back this up. That would be cool. That would be cool if they did. I don't have like an agent right now, which I really need. Like I need an agent really badly. I need like a support staff really badly. And I met two pretty cool people. I met a lot of really cool people actually in this past week, dude. Since everything has been getting underway. But two people right now who we're kind of like working together, and we're making some stuff happening, and starting some businesses and things like that, and just moving along. So yeah. Breakdance while you read it. Oh, that's right. Let me read it. Yeah, let me read the speech, man. All right, let's do it. All right, let's check it out. So here's the speech. Here's the speech. Let's get this resized so I can. There we go. Cool. And I can just slide back and forth. It's kind of, I don't know. It's not really too effective though, because that's annoying. Alright, we'll just zoom out. I need to be able to read it though, that's the issue. So I guess I'll just go full screen. I don't know. Let's see. It's a really long speech, dude. It's a really long speech. I'm trying to resize it so I can fit it on my screen. That's how bad this is right now, so. It'll probably take like 5 minutes, but yeah, I'll share it with you guys, sure. Dun, dun, dun. Let's slide this over here. Alright, a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So here is the mission statement and plan of action. Whoops, let's turn this towards me. So here is the mission statement and the plan of action for the GSPG, which stands for Global Solar Power Grid. So, I plan to begin this project by establishing a low-cost, effective mobile recording station consisting of one white cargo van with mounted camera and operator that will monitor every large stack pollution plant in New Mexico first, then the USA, and eventually the world. The graphic footage of smoke violently billowing into our atmosphere will be broadcast to the entire world 24 hours per day, 7 days per week, simultaneously on the same website, until our governments, businesses, and our people treat this matter as the state of emergency that it truly is. I will not cease my efforts until every harmful pollution-producing smokestack in the world is shut down, and we are 100% pollution-free with regard to power supply. is going to require a great deal of cooperation to produce the first ever global solar power grid, GSPG. However, the potential profit and the survival of our planet far outweigh the obstacles in our path. With a global solar power grid, if it's sunny in Seattle, they could effortlessly share power from the plains of Africa on the other side of the world at a predetermined and relatively fair cost. Large regions of land around the world in continents like Africa, South America, and some regions of the Middle East could be filled with gigantic solar farms stretching as far as the eye can see. Barren wasteland that would normally go unused could now provide the solution to all of our power and pollution issues. All these barren regions of the world that have been struck by poverty with large land masses available to fill with solar panels could be paid a percentage of profit for the energy that their land provides to the world's new GSPG, assuming we are unable to buy the land. And all private investors who provide the solar panels to each region, owned or allowed, would receive 90% of the net profit from the panels that they provide, or 80% after a 10% reduction to base state, federal, or international land upkeep for land that we use but do not own. I will require 10% of all profits to be reinvested into the company for 3 to 5 years until the entire GSPG has been established. This 10% of reinvested profit will pay for upkeep of our current pollution monitoring stations, as well as the expansion and lobbying of more locations until every high-risk pollution-producing plant in the entire state of New Mexico, and eventually the world, is being monitored continuously and compiled on the same website. The other 80, let's see here, where are we at? The other 80 to 90% will be available for use by the Board of Investors to determine their own withdrawals, payments, and potential reinvestment. I will also be using the 10% that is reinvested into the business to pay for additional travel, food, clothing, and other expenses as I continue to lobby in Albuquerque and the state of New Mexico for us to change to a more clean and pure energy source. I believe in transparency, oversight, and supervision. I've learned many tough lessons in business so far. I'm 26 years old, and I have a lot to learn, but I'm confident in my ability to make a real difference with this project to produce more power, more money, and less pollution. I would also like to live comfortably so that I can represent myself well and keep my family affairs in good order. I plan on working 40 to 80 hours per week, and will pay myself a salary of $120,000 in the form of $12,000 monthly due to increase or decrease based on the decisions of the Board of Investors in relation to my weekly performance reviews. I will record and monitor my working time carefully and keep a record of what I have accomplished each day. I currently own and operate a video game broadcasting company with over 75,000 followers across 5 different social media platforms, and I've learned that bookkeeping and currently own, the PowerPoint is a little bit sketchy at this point. It breaks for a moment. There we go. Bookkeeping and separating business and personal expenses is very important. So all business transactions will be made available to view at any time to all interested parties. And eventually I would like to connect all these solar grids that are developed in New Mexico to a regional charging and regulation station that could be set up every 50 to 100 miles. And that's a radial, rough approximation. And of course it will be carefully calculated in terms of cost and energy efficiency to determine the optimal radius of rerouting and monitoring power through the GSPG. With such a large-scale network in place and a well-calculated PR campaign, we should have no trouble acquiring customers and providing energy to the public at lower cost than other solar companies. Let's see here. If we acquire enough funding, we can also be creating job opportunities for millions of unemployed people that are struggling financially in New Mexico, the US, and elsewhere. This support we need, this mission will eventually require the cooperation of all local, state, and federal government systems in the US and abroad. However, I'm confident that we'll be able to get all the support we need if we can raise $136,000 of seed money to establish our website, purchase all necessary broadcasting equipment, the mobile broadcasting stations, pay our cameramen to take 8 to 12-hour shifts at each station, and pay for my current overhead, travel expenses, and salary for the next 90 days. I currently predict it will take me 2 weeks to acquire all of the appropriate equipment and begin operations once funding is received. After this 2-week period of establishing infrastructure, and when we have established at least 3 live broadcast stations of power plant pollution here in New Mexico, I'm I'm confident we'll gain enough momentum to launch a Kickstarter campaign and be successfully funded for $10 million within 30 days. Once we have acquired the Kickstarter funding, we will have the resources to buy large plots of land and make a large enough solar farm to provide our venture with enough liquid capital to expand operations into Colorado and beyond. Nothing hits harder than realism. To bring the dirty secret of our current energy supply chain into the light of our cameras 24 hours per day, 7 days per week, on the same website simultaneously will undoubtedly snap the global population out of the greed that has been clouding our better judgment of what's morally right and provide a significant boost of momentum towards positive change. I would also like to do a live broadcast news show that will be shown on YouTube and other popular networking sites with large audiences once per week to inform the public of how we are progressing and what is on our agenda for the coming week. I want the world that my future children grow up in to be a clean, healthy, and pollution-free environment. I believe that every person in the world is entitled to live in such a clean place, and it is a tragedy what we are doing to the planet right now, and establishing the global solar power grid is not only our social responsibility, but it is our duty to ensure our survival as a species. Thank you. And that's currently what I have, man, for the intro to the GSPG. And then basically I have a step-by-step breakdown for the immediate future in terms of raising seed capital. So we're looking for $137,000 to get us started so that we can raise publicity to get the Kickstarter campaign funded for $10 million. So basically step 1 is broadcasting stations, website, infrastructure set up. Step 2 is the Kickstarter once we have the publicity thing under control. And then step 3, once we have the Kickstarter money, then we can actually build the solar farm and we can buy the plots of land. And we can begin phasing out the power that's being provided by these plants.